Omega Memomatic, the first and only mechanical alarm wristwatch ever made by Omega, and also the first to combine an alarm function with automatic winding mechanism. But that's not all. This innovative piece uses a single barrel to power both the timekeeping and the alarm functions. Even more impressively, the alarm can be set with minute-level precision. That makes it the first wristwatch ever to offer that level of accuracy in its alarm setup. Despite the passage of time, very few watches feature both of these capabilities, and those that do, such as the GLC Memovox, come with a hefty price tag. For that reason, the Omega Memomatic is a true hidden gem for collectors. The piece I own bears visible scratches and signs of wear, making it a perfect candidate for restoration. Join me on this journey to turn it back to its original splendor. Every restoration begins with disassembly, and in this case it all starts with the bracelet. First step, I press the spring bar at the end of the clasp, and just like that, the bracelet splits into two parts. Then I remove the spring bars, attaching it to the case. And here comes our first surprise. One of the end links is broken. The tube that holds the spring bar completely disintegrated. That will definitely need fixing. Now I move on to the clasp, removing the spring bar and separating it. And yep, another surprise. The pin used in the bracelet is the wrong type. Just a cheap split pin. The kind you would find in budget watches. Seriously? Someone used it in Omega? Even worse is that the clasp part is non-original. That's always disappointing, finding mismatched components in a watch like this. Thankfully, the second end link is fine. No visible damage there. Just a lot of dirt. Next, I remove the case back. Good news, it's screwed on loosely. Inside, the movement looks clean. Probably serviced not too long ago. I remove the gasket and tension spring. Then move on to the alarm pusher. It's mounted on a split stem, so it needs a firm pull. Not elegant, but that's the design. Now it's time for the crown. Smooth removal, no resistance. With both out, I can lift the movement from the case. Time for the rest of the components. First up, the crystal. I'm using my decades old Sterncoins tool. Simple, reliable, and unbeatable. I select the right sized cap, mounted it, and remove the crystal. But surprise again, someone glued it in place. Most likely to improve water resistance. Not good idea, but luckily the glue didn't damage the crystal. Next, I tackle the crown tube, alarm button tube, and date pusher. Arguably the trickiest components to dismount. Hard to reach and easy to damage. I've tried plenty of tools over the years, but I still haven't found the perfect one. Right now I am using a Chinese clone of the Horotech tube remover. And believe it or not, it works better than the original. But here is the challenge. The case isn't perfectly round. It doesn't sit firmly in the tool, so I work at slight angle, which adds some risk. Finally, the date pusher. This one is centered, so it sits properly. Comes out easily. A small win to wrap up this part of the breakdown. Next step, removing the hands. I begin by setting them to a central position. It makes them easier and safer to reach with the hand levers. Before I touch anything, I place a thin piece of plastic over the dial, cut from a Ziploc bag. Tough enough to protect the surface, but soft enough not to interfere. With everything in place, I carefully lift the hands. They come off clean, with just a little resistance. Exactly how it should be. I move them aside with plastic tweezers so they don't scratch the dial. Now for the dial itself. Its pressure fits, so gentle prying is all it takes. But I go slow. The dial is thin and fragile. Any warping here could be hard to repair. You can see how much tension was in there. In this Omega, dial isn't just decorative. It also secures the alarm indicator disc beneath it. Once it's out, I can access those subdials. It's a smart design, compact, integrated, and beautifully engineered. From here, I remove the tension spring from the alarm discs and carefully disassemble the alarm assembly. For such a compact setup, the mechanics are surprisingly sophisticated. Just a few components, but it creates an intuitive, minute-accurate alarm. Solutions like this are what make vintage watchmaking so fascinating. Now comes the full breakdown of the movement. I start by disassembling the automatic winding mechanism. Then I will check mainspring tension and release it if needed, just to make sure no gear is damaged by stored energy. Once that's complete, I will begin removing the rest of the components. There is no strict right order. The goal is safety of the parts. One careless move and a spring or gear could vanish into the abyss. These parts are tiny, the size of a grain of sand, and nearly impossible to recover once they are airborne. Buying them is also a challenge. That's why I work slowly, under magnification, with fine tweezers. Always one step at a time. Once the movement is taken apart, it has to be cleaned. Not just on the surface, but deep down at the chemical level. It's a step many underestimate, yet it accounts for nearly a third of a successful movement survives. Each part must be completely free of old oils, dust, and most importantly, any trace of cleaning fluids. The choice of cleaning and rinsing solutions isn't just a detail, it's critical. Good solutions dissolve dirt without harming delicate components, but too aggressive ones? They can eat away a shellac on the palette and balance jewels, causing silent damage that won't show until it's too late. The right fluid doesn't just clean, it restores. It leaves oxidation, shows that soft metallic sheen, and makes even vintage parts look like they were machined yesterday. Cleaning is where precision begins. Now the movement waits. It's time for polishing. Servicing might seem straightforward from a distance, but up close, it's a battlefield of microscopic components, impossibly tight tolerances, and absolute precision. These aren't just screws and gears. I'm not just assembling a movement. I'm restoring the harmony, the rhythm that someone once designed, crafted, and brought to life. Each part contains intention. Each function holds legacy. This isn't just repair. It's resurrection. Alright, so the movement is assembled, but why do watchmakers call this one a nightmare? Just look at how many parts it has. It's even more complex than most chronograph movements. But that's only the beginning. See that long thin lever? It operates the alarm functions. It's made of delicate sheet of metal, and once it gets distorted, it's incredibly difficult to repair. After assembling dozens of these, I can confidently say, it's a horror to get it working just right. Then there's the triple indication system, the hands, the alarm discs, and the date disc. All of them need to align perfectly with each other. The date must flip exactly at midnight, and the alarm should activate in line the hands are positioned. There are markers on the movement to help with setup, but even those don't make it easy. Getting everything to line up often takes several attempts. And that right there is why this is a true watchmaker's nightmare. With that mountain climbed, we can move on to the next step, assembling the case, starting with the pendant tubes and date pusher. A tiny dab of Loctite goes into each mounting hole. It improves waterproofness and locks the tubes securely into place. Using a plastic hammer, I gently tap the tubes and alarm pusher into position. The soft material ensures the case finish remains flawless. No scratches, no marks. Next, the crystal. It's plastic and that's good news. I can install it with my hands, because sometimes human touch beats fancy tools. Plus, no scratches. Once the crystal is seated perfectly, I inspect the case interior and dial like a detective hunting invisible specks. Dust? Not today. With all dust free, I insert the movement and fit the crown, securing movement ahead of crucial moment, installing the balance wheel. Earlier, I had taken it for a vacation to synchronize the alarm rings, hands, and date mechanism, but now it's back. The crown is briefly removed again to apply silicone grease to the pendant tubes. That boosts waterproofness and ensuring smoother action. Finally, the crown and alarm pusher are locked in for good. Now comes the time grapher. Since this movement was serviced recently, no adjustment is needed. It's a rare moment in my watchmaking history, where I simply observe rather than intervene. The reading speaks volumes, stable and accurate. Moving forward, I install the case tension spring, a vital component that keeps the movement aligned and secure. Then I grease the gasket and fit it into the case groove, sealing out moisture and protecting the internals. Then comes the case back. I screw it gently with my fingertips, because real finesse is finger powered. For the final twist, I switch to the mighty plastic ball, the unsung hero of secure sealing without a scratch. Now we arrive at bracelet assembly. I attach the clasp spring with the correct pin for a strong connection. followed by the spring bar that secures the clasp cover. One end link had been damaged, so I welded a replacement tube of camera, then sandblasted the surface to conceal the repair. It's now joined with the bracelet and ready for installation. Tape goes over the looks to shield them during final attachment. With everything aligned, the bracelet clicks smoothly into place. And that completes the restoration. After countless hours and relentless attention to detail, we now witness a timepiece reborn. Its finish, its form, it whispers of its past and shines with the promise of the future. Nearly 50 years of wear, and today it looks and works like new again. Some say restoring vintage watches erase history, but I see it differently. This isn't an artifact in a glass box. It's not the wristwatch of royalty or rock stars. It's something far more powerful. A watch that lives for people, for presence, for passion. I hope this journey spoke to you. In the next video, we will dive even deeper. I will show you how I polish the case in more detail. Thanks for being here. Hit subscribe and see you.